What's good, YouTube land? Rrr, Hulk review toy! Rrr, Hulk wear purple pants! Today, we'll be continuing the War for Cybertron trilogy's pattern of updating characters that got toys in Classics, Universe, Thrilling 30. So why don't you join me on the road again as we talk about Traxxas. Where is he? He is Autobot Traxxas. At least this model doesn't have turbo like the last one did. It's turbo time! But this is his box. There's a picture of Traxxas with the wrong head sculpt. That's the head sculpt from the remold from Road Rage, which is kind of amusing. And you know, the box. Me Hulk-like box. I don't know. And on the back. And inside, do. Strong like Hulk, I am not. They put the accessories down there again. And the character card this time, it's Black Arachne again. Which one will it be? Will it be the one, her standing there with the scepter? Yep. It's the same. One is Scorpionock. So here is the newest and latest Traxxas. And I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this figure. Especially in the robot mode. Let's get a look at that head sculpt. I do really like that head sculpt. The smooth red anger face and the blue eyes with the sort of white, perfectly white helmet is a really cool thing. And character-wise, Traxxas is a complete narcissist, obsessed with himself. As every single one of his Autobot teammates will tell you. But you would be too if you had a vehicle form as beautiful as this one. Raoul? What is this horrible accent I'm doing? Get me a skull before I perish? But we're starting with the robot mode, so where do we go from there? Well, I guess I actually have to review him. So, I'll start with the things I do like. He is well proportioned, in my opinion. He looks like long and skinny, but like not too skinny. Like he's, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but he has a cool design. And the one thing I like the most is he goes way beyond to hide away his vehicle behind him. Because, you know, it makes perfect sense because he's so arrogant. He doesn't want his vehicle mode damaged at all. Because it's not like the Decepticons are going to shoot him in the back, right? They're totally not about deception and all kinds of bullshittery. There's a word. That also is my biggest issue with Traxxas' design in and of itself. Is the fact that he hides so much of it just behind him as a backpack. Because this is basically 90% of his car mode. The only other bit of it is right there. And it also leads to unfortunate design flaws like the feet not being attached to the legs. Well, I want to say at all, but they're not attached to his shins. Which is not something I like at all. But they do have very nice full range of ball joints, which is rare for toy ankles these days. So you take what you can get. I already commented on the face and the helmet. I like his color scheme, I guess. The blue and the white, the red and the gray kind of work well. And it is a nice, not too dull a gray. It's just dark enough to highlight all that molded in detail. And apparently, from what I gather, this is honestly the most show-accurate Traxxas they've ever done. It's more obvious than other elements. The most obvious one being the all-red flames on the backs, on his calf muscles. Screw off, phone. I'm trying to film a review. I guess articulation-wise, the head is on a ball joint. It's kind of annoying because you have to... He's got so much hood behind him, but if you can get your fingers in there, he does have a decent range of neck flexibility, although it is hampered by the annoying stick right there that you can't move anywhere. But he can nod up, he can go, nod, he can turn to the side just about that much. Can bobble a bit. The shoulders are on universal joints, so they have full range of motion that way, full range out, even the wing goes, or the wing actually stays where it wants to. You can go all the way out. This is for transformation, but you have a bit of backwards butterfly motion if you want it. All the way to there. You do have an elbow. You have a bicep above your elbow. And for some reason, on my copy, his right elbow click locks or friction locks into place, while the other one does not. And there's nothing at the wrist except for a transformation joint. You do get a waist swivel unimpeded by the backpack, which is nice. You also get a look at, you can flip up his underpants for a look at his robo crotch, or to kick his leg forward and backwards, which is slightly hampered by his backpack, unfortunately. But you can go all the way if you so choose. Friggin', there's even detailing molded into the inner thigh, which normally would be left hollow. You can also go all the way out. You do get a thigh swivel, along with a 90-degree knee bend and the previously mentioned ball-jointed ankle. So, posability is pretty good overall. I'd say, yeah, pretty much the standard you kind of expect. I wish I had more access to the neck, but that kind of feels like the only joint that's hindered. And, you know, I'd prefer a wrist swivel most of the time. But, yeah. And apparently, it's been reported that, I don't know what part of the legs come apart, but the only part, I'm like, at least on my copy, it's pretty solid down here. The only thing that's a tiny bit loose are the hips, but only from like right there. They fall. Everywhere else they hold their own very well. I think that, well, we could talk about this gun, which honestly is nothing really to it but its name, because it sort of looks like just almost like just a water bottle painted black to pretend it's a gun. But no, it is a gun, and its name is the Black Beam gun. Yeah, because that's not totally problematic at all. And apparently, it has the ability to darken everything around it. I mean, it makes sense for an arrogant knobhead like this guy, but really, there's how did that get approved? How did that make it onto television more than once? How did nobody complain about black beam gun? Maybe I'm making too much of it. I'm making a mountain of a molehill, but we also have this thing, this handy little double missile pistol, which kind of looks like it's still on the sprue, but it also has a 5mm port on top of it to plug in his gun for a sort of tripod of death looking thing. Which normally the missile these are normally his missiles to make make himself look more like himself, I guess. Normally they come separate and you have to attach them, but this time they made it one accessory which you can plug into his hand, which looks kind of dinky. And if I was going to bring up another problem, you can see the literal hole in his arm. But it also makes a decent looking shield. Well, not really. It's a tiny buckler, but it does kind of look better either on his forearm or behind his head than it does anywhere else. Because you also have ports on the top of his shoulders. One on each shoulder, and also one right there, each side of his shin. But I prefer my Traxxas to have it right up top there. So, size comparison, I guess. Here's Kingdom Huffer. He's a little bit taller than Huffer. They both have egregious backpacks. Other than that, I think that's it for robot mode. I guess you could even... Whoa, that's a big backpack. But I was trying to highlight the detail on his wings. Which is impressive. Alright, I've already showed off the vehicle mode. Let's get to the transformation. So start by folding in the wrists. We'll remove this and put it off to the side along with the gun. And you're going to want to fold the whole backpack out, and it's on a double... This part is on a double hinge. You just kind of want to put it in place. I'm going to mention this now. I have the same worries about this guy as I did Studio Series Jazz, because this whole backpack is translucent plastic, and the hinges are the things I'm worried about. Because those are translucent, and those will definitely break. They broke on my... I think one of them cracked on my Jazz, even though it really hasn't had any negative effects on him. I just don't transform him anymore because I don't want to risk it. But you have to rotate the backpack all the way into right there, and we'll leave it there for now. And we can come to the arms, and you can fold them down like this, and fold them back. We'll leave them there for now, and get the rest of the car mode ready. Do the same thing. You want to rotate the waist. And this part of the transformation, as many times as I've done it, like the legs section is kind of annoying, and I'll show you the highlights where I think it's the most annoying, but you also want to extend his torso so it's all the way up like that. And you can come back to the back or the front of the shins and unpeg them, because they essentially do the Combiner Wars thing of the double jointed enclasp. Is that the word I'm thinking of? Like they collapse on themselves. But at the same time, you have to rotate these outer shin bits so they line up to actually look like, you know, a vehicle. And all the while, freaking the feet are getting... it's like, this is not the most annoying part. This is kind of annoying because it has a very specific direction it wants to go to line up properly, and it's kind of easy to forget. Also, best to put the feet like that, so you have them out sort of out of the way. But like, that's not the part I find the most annoying about this. Sure, I can forget which way they go and go, oh, right, that goes... Like, I do kind of get lost, but it's kind of easy that they only go one way. But the most annoying part, I find, is the next motion you have to do. You have to bring this backpack all the way over, and it has to enclasp everything. And at the same time, there's that translucent... Where is it? Little hole right there that has to peg in to that little peg right there. So you have to essentially do this at the same time getting everything over. And it's not as much annoying as it is frightening. You have to push on this to get everything to set straight. So like that. I really don't like that because I feel like I'm putting too much force. Oh, and then fold the arms up and you're done. But I feel like I'm putting too much force on clear plastic. Granted, the car mode is gorgeous, as previously mentioned. But and getting it the reverse transmission, having to unpeg it is also frightening, because it feels like I'm putting too much effort on clear plastic and it's going to snap. But here is Traxxas in his ever loved by himself alt mode. Granted, this Chevy Corvette is very beautiful. I think it's like a C3 or an approximation of a C3. But this is definitely his ace in the hole. Transformation, fairly simple. I kind of like what's going on. Fairly compact, and the backpack reach around is kind of fun. But it's just the fact that it's clear plastic is makes it that much more worrying that it's not going to survive. And it's kind of amusing that he has his feet in his windshield. But yeah. What to say other than, oh, this is definitely a very nice car, but it is just a car, which I don't mind because we haven't had a lot of them since the Chugverse ended. Sort of the Prime Wars trilogy. And I'm trying to think of which ones we've had in Kingdom. Huffer's a truck. Oh, we had the Runabout and Runabout kids that were kind of generic sports cars that didn't look amazing. But based on looks, I would say, yeah, this guy's kind of the best. The panel lines aren't too intrusive. You can kind of... it's easy to not break up the car. Does that make sense? I don't know. The only kind of bits of kibble are, unfortunately, the gray panels just hanging out right there. There's really no way to get around that. And you know, it's very compact, very packed in there. It feels nice. It rolls very well. It actually rolls nice. Again, with the show accuracy, with the all red flame and the Autobot symbol. Although the Autobot symbol split in half, which is unfortunate. You know, a very solid, beautiful looking car. That's not generic. That's a specific... So, what do we do? Well, you can plunk the guns on top for a pretty ridiculous battle mode. Which also leads into the hilarity that is Traxxas' third mode. Because Trax loved this about himself, he gave himself a flying car mode. Because, yeah, that's totally a disguise. So, he has these little white pop-up wings that you can just fold out the back here, which don't really work in robot mode because they're backwards and they don't really show up at all. And the only other thing you have to do is basically untransform the arms. So pop them out, rotate them like this, and just leave them like that. And that's his flying car. Well, as soon as I get the other one out. That's his flying car mode. Conveniently enough, he does not have any way at all to attach this to a flight stand. Actually, I'm not sure which way the arms go. I think they'll go that way because it's matching the blue. Also, the arms don't plug in at all. But this car mode, this flying car mode, is hilarious enough, and it's so uniquely Trax. Because only Trax would half transform himself in between his robot mode and his car mode. Just for the excuse of, hey, I can fly! I'm better than you! Because, you know, he's that freaking arrogant and full of himself. But, yeah, I believe that's everything on Trax. You know, I went into this after I purchased him not expecting to like him. Because I had heard kind of the little nitpicky flaws about him, but having him in hand, I actually really enjoy him. I enjoy him a lot more than I expected. So, I do think I recommend Trax. He's got flaws. He's not perfect. I'm actually looking forward to how he turns out as Road Rage. To this in all red. Ooh. How can you go wrong with a flying car? I don't know. Whoosh. So, thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed, and I hope you join me again on the highway to the danger zone. And until then, until next time, honk honk! Keep it weird. Bye!